Education Department. As you see, there is a change in our program, and we have this presentation about open governments, but I believe it will be also very interesting, so...
Hello, hello.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm very sorry Žilvinas is not here. Žilvinas is also very passionate speaker and very good experts who we will benefit from. But, I'll try to do my job. I have to apologize to all those who need the headphones, but, I was told that it's better to speak English, and that's, for the benefit of our guests also. So my name is Karolis Seime. I work for Transparency International. Now, how many people have heard of an organization of that name, just by raise of hands? Okay, so very quickly then, it's about one-third. Very quickly, it's an organization, it's an international organization that fights for transparency, for the good governance, and fights corruption in the world. We have chapters and branches all over the world in more than 100 countries. So that's just a very quick introduction. But today I will not be speaking about corruption, okay? I'll try not to be too overwhelming today with the numbers and with, the sense that, it's going bad, the house is burning. Today I will try to take the buckets of water and go and try to, put down the fire and suggest a couple of very concrete steps that all of us can take in order to achieve more transparency in all of our countries in the European Union. Now let me just try and make an argument about open government, explain what it is in a little bit more detail, and just wrap up with some conclusions. How do I go about the slides? Right, okay. Right. Okay, so I have to be honest with you, okay, I stole this. This is not mine. I borrowed this from David Cameron, who spoke in London last week, and he made an argument about open government. So what he did is he took two countries, North Korea and South Korea, and just showed the difference, and he showed the link between the political system and market economy and mode of economy in the country, right? So I really don't want to make a bad case for North Korea, right? It's not about good guys and bad guys, it's about the facts, okay? So we have the North Korea with living standards amongst the lowest in the world. We have average life expectancy of just 66 years old, right? We just go across the border to a different country, the life expectancy grows by 15 years, which is the fourth largest economy in Asia, and teenagers are second in the world for reading, right? Now the question is, why is this? Many people say that, nation's success is determined by the climate, the culture, the religion, the history, the neighbors, and they all are right, okay? But nothing is as influential as economic system and political system, right? And the last 20 years showed that besides a couple of good examples with closed political systems, open political systems and market economies are two keys to nation success. Now, what are we talking when we mean open government? Many people say that open government is the buzzword, is the key word for people like me, for organizations like Transparency International, for transparency geeks, for those who are insane, basically. But I want to say that no, I think open government and clear understanding of open government is an absolute key to our vision and our success, long-term success, sustainability, right? And when we talk open government, we mean transparency, we mean participation, and we mean accountability. Now, let me just go through all of them very quickly with a single slide to each of them. Right. Okay, so I will not spend too much time on that because transparency is also a buzzword. I'm sure, there's no political speech nowadays without the word transparency, that every, election promise is based on we're going to open up the information, you're going to know what's happening. The question is how difficult is to achieve real transparency. And while, we really do appreciate the efforts by many governments in the European Union and in Lithuania, I still have to say, if I'm really honest to myself, that we're still struggling with really achieving transparency. Now, what I mean by this is this. For those who don't really understand the language, Transparency International has issued 5 basic, very, very basic starting principles for the public information standards. All right. So basically, in very simple terms, it means this: that every information that is allowed to be released, and I'm speaking about the state secrecy and privacy data, of course, but all the rest has to be, by definition, released to the public with 5 main criteria fulfilled. The data that public institutions has to be released in open formats, right? The data has to be well structured. It has to be openly licensed, meaning that everybody can use the information that public institutions have. The data, of course, has to be complete, and it has to be released in a timely manner. Now, I know it's a bit complicated, it's a bit technical, right? So I'm just trying to summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences. What this means is that every public institution, by definition, should release their data to the society in order to realize the potential of data by the society, right? We take up the data, we create new services, we understand more about the government, we don't depend on the government, and we can make decisions by ourselves, right? With the help of organizations such as Transparency International, with the help of activists and other institutions. So that's point number 1 to the open government. Now, point number 2 is participation. Very broad, right? Everybody's speaking about it. Now, I will not really elaborate on this. It's all on the slide, but let me just quote Winston Churchill, who once said, "The best argument against democracy is 5 minutes conversation with an average citizen." Well, let me tell you, we don't believe it. We absolutely disagree with that. We believe that people have the potential to contribute to the public policy. And we are not talking about legal advice, right? We are not talking about policy contributions. We're speaking about understanding what people in your state wants, what's the feeling about the policy, right? And given the right tools, it's proven. It's not something of a nice to have thing. It's proven. Given the right tools, people can really contribute to the politics, right, and to the development of the policies in the state. Let's move on to the 3rd point of open government. And let me just come back to the previous presentation. What I take from the presentation personally is exactly this, right? I don't want to pay any taxes if I don't believe that my money will be well spent, right? If you don't want to talk about politics, if you don't want to talk about social feelings, social behavior, let's talk money, all right? Nobody will want to pay taxes if they know that their taxes will be wasted. And that's the key to the accountability, leaving behind all the concepts of, transparency and public participation. It's about money, it's about our well-being and about sustainability. We have to get that money in. And in order to get all the money possible in, you have to build the trust. And trust is a synonym of accountability. So, that's the argument, right? Easy said, one might say. Transparency International standing up and saying what should we do about open governments in the country. Now, how? The question is, how do we achieve that? And there are many ways. But one of them, let me just draw your attention to just one of them as a resource for the governments, all right? There's this international initiative called Open Government Partnership, right? Lithuania joined it back in 2011 in very simple terms. It's the initiative that allows governments to step up, to engage with civil society, to draw the action plans